Today's video is made possible by Hulu Plus. For a free extended 2-week trial period, head over to huluplus.com/TOT. Hello mates, I just got through throwing a shrimp in the barbie and now I'm bringing you guys a bottle of two of the latest, greatest phones to hit the market. The Apple iPhone 5S and the HTC One M8. Okay, so maybe I'm not from Australia and maybe it's not called the M8. So check it out. You guys all know this phone. The Apple 5S has been out for a while, since late last year in 2013. This phone's just come out. They're pretty relatively priced, but let's see what the two differences between these two phones and which one at the end of the day you'd want to spend your money on. Let's bounce. The Apple iPhone 5S sizes in at 123.8 by 58.6 by 7.6 millimeters. The HTC One M8 comes in at 146.4 by 70.6 by 9.4 millimeters. Now, as far as weight goes, the iPhone 5S comes in at 112 grams. The HTC One M8 comes at 160 grams. So there you guys can see the HTC One is obviously, it's a little bit bigger, which brings a little bit more weight to the table. Now, maybe this won't matter to some, but to some folks, this may be something that's very important. So obviously, the HTC One is a bigger phone, but the Apple is definitely more portable. Now let's talk about screen size. The iPhone 5S has a 4-inch LCD display with 1136 by 640 resolution. The HTC One M8, on the other hand, has a 5-inch Super LCD 3 display with full 1080 resolution. Now this one right here is pretty much a no-brainer. You can obviously see that the HTC One M8 clearly has a much larger, better display screen. It's got higher pixel density, it's got much more resolution. The only thing that's going to make you go back to the Apple is if you're looking for that portability option once again. One of the biggest things though that I like about having a big screen, and I have the Samsung Note 3, is having a really large screen makes media just really awesome. When you're looking at movies, playing a game, or doing anything, having a big screen is really awesome. Now, the iPhone 5S is a really cool phone, but when I look at my friend's phone, for me personally, the screen is so small it's hard for me to even see stuff, even the icons. So if you're a person like me and you like to be able to clearly see something, you might want to consider that when you're making your purchase option. Next up, let's talk about processor power. And this is one area that gets a little bit confusing for a lot of people because the iPhone 5S, it has a 1.3 gigahertz 64-bit A7 dual-core chip that features 1 gigabyte of RAM. The HTC One M8, however, features a 2.3 gigahertz Snapdragon 801 quad-core chip with 2 gigabytes of RAM. Now, most people right off the bat are going to say, okay, obviously, quad-core, dual core, it's just going to win hands down. I mean, obviously, if you have 4 arms, you can do more than 2, but that doesn't actually seem to be the case. There are some tests where the A7 actually kicks ass on everything. And Geekbench 3, for example, is one of those tests. The iPhone 5S in single-core tests got 1,411, multi-core 2,558. The HTC One M8, however, got a single-core score of 906 and a multi-core score of 2,379. So you can see right here in Geekbench that even though the A7 is a dual-core processor, it's also very efficient, and this test, it just kicks ass. Now let's look at 3D Mark Ice Storm Unlimited. Now this shows the HTC One M8 coming ahead at 20,675, with the iPhone 5S coming in at 14,986. So you can see from the test scores, folks, these things actually jump back and forth, but at the end of the day, both of them are just really kick-ass, high-efficiency, efficient processors. They're actually quite snappy. Now let's talk about something that also confuses a lot of people: battery life or milliamp hour life. Now the Apple iPhone 5S, it has about 1,600 milliamp hours on it, where the other phone, the HTC One M8, has about 2,600 milliamps on it. Now this is one thing that's going to get confusing because both these phones will last about a day. And you're going to go, well, how can that be? The 2,600 has so much more. Well, that's not really so much true at the end of the day because, like I said, both will last you for a full day. But the Apple phone, it has a much smaller screen. and it also has a much smaller tank, which we'll get to in just a second. So the HTC One has a much larger screen, lots of more pixels going on. The battery life on it is actually going to take more power, but because of the efficiency of both these phones, they're going to last you about a day. Now, if charging things really fast though is your thing, obviously the smaller tank that the Apple iPhone 5S has is going to charge faster than the about 2600 that the HTC One M8 has. So that gets people a little confusing because they're going to think, oh wow, 2600, it's so much more. But at the end of the day, with the efficiency of the Apple phone, they're about really close. Now for me, I have a Galaxy Note 3, and this thing will last literally about 3 days. So both those things pale in comparison to that phone, but they do pretty good for what they do. Now let's talk about cameras. The iPhone 5S features an 8 megapixel 1080p video capable camera. The HTC One M8 features a 4 ultra pixel 1080p camera as well, but features larger pixels, which is better in low light. Now the HTC One, it did a pretty solid job of taking pictures. They look pretty good, but I gotta say that the Apple iPhone 5S, the pictures are much sharper and the detail is actually much better on that camera. So this is the iPhone 5S at 1080p. Me and Buster the dog here, giving you the waves. So now we're looking at the HTC One M8 at 1080p. Me and Buster the dog once again. Now, one thing that the Apple iPhone 5S features, it has a 720p 120 frames per second slow motion mode. Now this thing's really cool and we're going to show you that right now. Now the HTC One, on the other hand, has a 1080p slow mode effect, but it's at 60 frames per second. So while the resolution may be higher, the actual slow mode effect is not going to be as well as on the Apple iPhone 5S. Here, however, is a perk that the HTC One M8 has above the Apple iPhone 5S, and this is their new Duo Phone technology. And what this is, it's actually two 4 ultra-pixel cameras that takes 2 separate shots, one of the foreground, one of the background, and then mixes them together for a picture. Now this has a lot of different uses and can actually be used for a lot of different things. Now we found clarity could be a little bit iffy, but it actually is a really cool feature, because think about it. You can either have the background image be very clear and the thing in the front, it can be blurry, or you can reverse that. So it has a lot of different things you can do with it. Now we've taken a few pictures with that. We've just touched upon a little bit, but you guys can check that out here and see what you guys think. Now let's talk a second about security. You guys all know that Apple phones, they come with their fingerprint reader technology. I mean, you can unlock your phone with your fingerprint. Now, some others have them out there, you guys know this, but the HTC One M8 fails to have this feature. So that is something that actually differentiates them in the security area. Although if that doesn't matter to you whatsoever and sound is your thing, here's something that separates the man from the beast big time. Now the Apple iPhone 5S, it has a single speaker on it. Now with the new HTC One M8, you get this new boom sound, which features 2 stereo speakers, one at the top, one at the bottom. So you get that full stereo sound right out of the HTC One M8. So you get much better sound clarity in stereo on the HTC One M8. So if sound is your thing and you don't want to wear headphones, obviously this is something you're going to want to consider.
That was
So before I wrap this video up, folks, I want to give a big shout out and thanks to Hulu Plus for making this video possible today. So I know many of you PC users out there know what Hulu is, but do you guys really know what Hulu Plus is? Because Hulu Plus is like a whole different level. Hulu Plus is like taking that standard video card, slapping a water cooler on it, and getting the absolute most bang for your buck. Just all kinds of content. Now, with the standard Hulu, you can only watch it on your PC, but with Hulu Plus, baby, you can take that on the go, on your tablet, on your phone. With Hulu Plus, you can catch up on current shows, binge on old favorites, or watch a great movie. Stream as many TV shows and movies as you want, anytime, anywhere. You can also check out exclusive content, including Hulu originals like The Wrong Man's and Behind the Mask. Best of all, you can watch all of this content in HD. Now, I know a lot of people always ask, how can you guys support the site? Well, at this time, you can support the site and get your guys a free extended trial period just by going to huluplus.com/TOT, where you can enjoy Hulu Plus for 2 weeks. All right, folks, so there you guys see it. A lot of difference between the HTC One M8 and the Apple iPhone 5S. Now, me personally, I think I'd go with the M8 because I like the bigger screen. I like to do a lot of stuff on my phone that involves looking at it. And so if you want something that's gonna have a much clearer screen, you wanna go for that one. Like I said before, if portability is your thing, you might wanna look at the Apple iPhone 5S. Now, me personally, I am not an iOS fan. It's not my thing. I'm really more used to using Samsung and the Android software, so that's going to be more up my alley. I know opinions out there vary, so if you're a person who's in love with the iOS software, you're probably going to go, you know, the HTC One M means jack crap to me. But if you're somebody who's just looking for features, you can see that these things both have compelling reasons to buy either one of them. At the end of the day, though, what I see is the HTC One having a much bigger, much better screen. Obviously, the battery life is about the same, so that's going to be a shake off at the end of the day. You guys heard the Apple iPhone 5S, excuse me, will charge faster, but I don't think it's going to really matter to too many people unless you're constantly on the go. And nowadays they have all these battery chargers and all that stuff, so I don't think that's really going to matter. Let me know what you guys think. Also, we'll have a full article on this by our man Zane, so you guys can check that out down the link down there below the like button. If you guys like this video, you guys know what to do down there. So I'm Ulrich. Thanks for watching Tech, and tomorrow we'll see you guys back here on more videos with more technology coming very soon. See you later.